hip-hop world is currently reeling as a decades-long history of industry secrets, private alliances, and public fallout comes crashing into the limelight. At the center of this storm is 50 Cent, a man known as much for his ruthless business tactics as his legendary trolling. But this time, the tables have turned. Tamika "Tiny" Harris has stepped forward with a set of claims that have left fans stunned, alleging that Fifth exerted a level of pressure that forced her into secret, late-night meetings away from the public eye and her own family. While Tiny's allegations are enough to set the internet on fire, the situation took a volatile turn when King Harris, the outspoken son of T.I. and Tiny, decided to leak what he calls the receipts. King has never been one to shy away from controversy, but these latest shocking details suggest a much darker undercurrent to the relationship between the G-Unit mogul and the Harris family. For years, the public saw a mix of professional respect and occasional competitive ribbing between T.I. and 50 Cent. But Tiny's new perspective paints a picture of coercion and hidden agendas. As King Harris continues to go live, exposing text messages and behind-the-scenes interactions, the narrative of the King of the South and the King of New York is being rewritten in real time. 50 Cent, never one to remain silent, has already begun his counterattack, reacting with his signature brand of digital warfare. But as the details of these secret nights emerge, people are beginning to wonder if this is one feud that even 50 can't joke his way out of. We are diving deep into the timeline of these claims, the specific evidence King Harris has brought to the table, and how this explosive revelation might permanently alter the legacy of two of hip-hop's most powerful families. The depth of these allegations takes us back to a time when the alliance between G-Unit and the Grand Hustle empire seemed untouchable. But behind the closed doors of high-stakes studio sessions and private industry events, a different story was being written. Tiny's claims regarding these secret nights suggest that 50 Cent utilized a psychological leverage that went far beyond mere business contracts, creating an atmosphere where she felt obligated to comply with his demands for clandestine meetings. According to the narrative she is now sharing, these encounters weren't just about music or television pitches. They were framed in a way that made her feel that the success of her family's brand depended on her staying in Fifth's good graces, even if it meant stepping outside the boundaries of her marriage. This wasn't a sudden shift, but rather a slow burn of influence where 50 Cent allegedly exploited his position as a media mogul to keep Tiny in a cycle of constant communication. The shocking part isn't just that these meetings happened, but the level of secrecy that was demanded to keep T.I. in the dark, effectively creating a wedge within one of hip-hop's most prominent power couples. Tiny describes a sense of professional entrapment, where the fear of 50's notorious social media wrath or his ability to blackball artists kept her silent for years. She hints at late-night calls and location sharing that felt more like surveillance than collaboration, painting a picture of a man who wanted total control over the narrative of those around him. As this information began to circulate, the public's attention immediately turned to King Harris, whose involvement has turned a private grievance into a full-blown digital war. King didn't just support his mother's claims. He acted as the ultimate catalyst by leaking what he calls the blueprint of manipulation. The details he shared through his social media platforms include alleged text exchanges where 50 Cent's tone was far from professional, showing a side of the mogul that the public rarely sees, one that is demanding, persistent, and arguably coercive. King's decision to go public with these shocking details stems from a long-standing tension between his family and the New York rapper. But this move feels different because it targets 50's character rather than just his music or his business. The leaked messages supposedly highlight instances where Tiny tried to decline these secret nights, only to be met with reminders of the favors 50 had done for the Harris family in the past. This guilt-tripping tactic is what King describes as the primary weapon used to force his mother into positions she wasn't comfortable with. By bringing these private conversations into the light, King has effectively stripped away the veil of business as usual, forcing the audience to look at the power dynamics at play. The fallout from these leaks has been instantaneous, with fans dissecting every word for clues about how deep this influence truly went and whether T.I. was genuinely oblivious or simply choosing to ignore the red flags for the sake of the business empire they were building together. The reaction from 50 Cent was as swift as it was brutal, but it carried a different energy than his usual playful trolling. Initially, he attempted to laugh it off with his trademark humor, posting memes that suggested the Harris family was simply looking for a storyline for their next reality season. However, as the weight of Tiny's words and King's receipts began to settle in the public consciousness, 50's tone shifted toward a more defensive and aggressive stance. He began questioning Tiny's memory of the events, suggesting that the secret nights were actually high-level strategy meetings for Power and other Stars projects that she had begged to be a part of. He framed himself not as a manipulator, but as a mentor who was being betrayed by the very people he tried to help. This counter-narrative claims that Tiny was an active and willing participant in every meeting, and that the secrecy was her idea to avoid conflict with T.I.'s notorious ego. By flipping the script, 50 Cent is attempting to paint Tiny as the architect of the deception, using King as a pawn to protect her own reputation now that the truth is surfacing. This back and forth has created a massive divide in the fanbase, with some standing firmly behind the Harris family's truth, and others believing that 50 is being targeted by a family looking for a comeback. The intensity of this conflict is fueled by the fact that there are no clear winners. Every new detail leaked by King or every rebuttal posted by 50 only adds more layers of complexity to a situation that is rapidly spiraling out of control, leaving the legacy of both G-Unit and Grand Hustle hanging in the balance of public opinion. The escalation of this conflict into the public eye has peeled back the layers of what many are now calling a masterclass in industry manipulation. As we transition from the initial shock of Tiny's claims into the gritty details provided by King Harris, the narrative takes a sharp turn toward the specific mechanics of how these secret nights were allegedly orchestrated. King has made it clear that the digital trail left behind is not just a collection of random messages, but a chronological map of coercion. He describes a system where 50 Cent would allegedly use his massive media infrastructure, ranging from television production offices to private recording studios, as a front for these mandatory meetings. The shocking details reveal that Tiny was often summoned under the guise of urgent script doctoring or casting decisions for projects that were supposed to elevate her career to new heights. However, once behind closed doors, the atmosphere would shift. King alleges that these nights were used by the G-Unit mogul to gather intelligence on the Harris family's internal business dealings, effectively using Tiny as an unwitting mole while simultaneously pressuring her to keep these interactions hidden from T.I. The psychological weight of carrying such a massive secret while trying to maintain the image of a unified power couple is what Tiny now describes as a prison of fame. To understand the gravity of King's leaks, one must look at the specific nature of the receipts he has presented to the world. He isn't just posting screenshots. He is narrating a history of emotional leverage. In one of the most discussed segments of his recent live streams, King highlighted a series of voice notes where a voice sounding remarkably like 50 Cent's transitions from professional encouragement to a cold, demanding tone. These audio clips suggest that if Tiny didn't show up to specific after-hours sessions, her involvement in high-profile soundtracks or executive producer roles would be quietly restructured. This form of professional blackmail is what King argues forced his mother into those secret nights. The narrative suggests that 50 was playing a long game, slowly creating a rift between Tiny and T.I. by making her feel that her husband's protective nature was actually a hindrance to her individual success. By positioning himself as the only one who truly understood her potential, 50 allegedly created a dependency that made the secret nights feel like a necessary evil for the survival of her brand. This revelation has sent shockwaves through the industry, as it challenges the standard hustle culture of hip-hop and replaces it with a conversation about consent, boundaries, and the abuse of executive power. The situation becomes even more convoluted when we examine 50 Cent's calculated counterattack. Instead of a blanket denial, which is easily picked apart by data, he has chosen to weaponize the crazy narrative. By flooding his social media with clips of King Harris's past outbursts and public disagreements with his parents, 50 is attempting to gaslight the entire audience. He is betting on the public's tendency to dismiss the words of a rebellious teenager over the word of a multimillionaire business icon. 50's defense is built on the idea that the secret nights were actually Tiny's escape from a controlling marriage, framing himself as the safe haven rather than the predator. He claims that Tiny sought his counsel because she felt overshadowed by T.I.'s legacy, and that the secrecy was a request from her side to avoid domestic drama. This flip of the script is classic 50 Cent, taking the opponent's weapon and turning it back on them. However, King Harris was prepared for this move. He countered by releasing metadata from the photos and messages, showing that many of these urgent summons from 50 Cent happened during family holidays or significant personal events for the Harris family, which contradicts the idea that Tiny was the one initiating the contact. The digital evidence suggests a pattern of intrusion rather than a series of invited consultations. The narrative flow continues to thicken as we look at the involvement of the wider industry circle. Rumors are circulating that other artists who have worked under the G-Unit umbrella are watching this fallout with bated breath, wondering if their own secret nights or private grievances will be the next to surface. King Harris has hinted that he is in possession of a master drive that contains more than just his mother's interactions. He claims that the shocking details the public has seen so far are just the tip of the iceberg, intended to test 50 Cent's reaction before the real damage is done. This has created a high-stakes standoff where every social media post feels like a move in a deadly game of chess. Tiny, for her part, has remained relatively quiet since her initial statement, allowing her son to act as the frontline soldier in this digital war. Some analysts suggest this is a strategic move to protect her from direct legal retaliation while the King Harris brand takes the heat. Meanwhile, the silence from T.I. is becoming deafening. The King of the South is known for his eloquence and his willingness to jump into a fray, but his current restraint suggests either a legal strategy in motion or a profound personal crisis as he navigates the reality of these leaked interactions. As we reach the peak of this second phase, the focus remains on the forced nature of these encounters. Tiny's claims aren't just about presence. They are about the loss of agency. She describes a feeling of being owned by the contract, where the lines between her professional obligations to 50 Cent's media empire and her personal life were intentionally blurred to keep her in a state of constant anxiety. King Harris emphasizes that the secret nights were a form of psychological branding, where 50 wanted to prove that he could summon the wife of his rival at any time, under any circumstances. This power move, if proven true, paints a devastating picture of the industry's underbelly, where human relationships are treated as assets to be traded or liquidated. The public is now waiting for the next drop of information, as King has promised that the smoking gun is yet to come, a piece of evidence that he claims will make it impossible for 50 Cent to ever mock the Harris family again. The tension is palpable, the receipts are piling up, and the legacy of these hip-hop titans is being rewritten with every new bite of leaked data, moving us closer to a final confrontation that will change the landscape of celebrity news forever. As the tension reaches its breaking point, the third and final act of this industry drama shifts from the digital battlefield to the inevitable fallout that threatens to dismantle the 50 Cent empire and the Harris family legacy simultaneously. The shocking details leaked by King Harris have moved past simple text messages and entered the territory of deep-rooted financial and personal betrayal. King's narrative suggests that the secret nights were not just about social dominance, but were allegedly used as a backdrop for 50 Cent to convince Tiny to sign over specific rights to her life story and media likeness under the guise of a joint venture that T.I. was never supposed to find out about. This part of the story reveals a calculated effort to create a shadow business where Tiny's creative output would be diverted away from the Grand Hustle umbrella and into the hands of G-Unit's legal team. Tiny's claims focus on the sheer exhaustion of living this double life, where she felt that her every move was being monitored by a man who treated the hip-hop industry like a chessboard where people are nothing more than pawns to be sacrificed for a larger goal. The narrative flow deepens as we analyze the psychological aftermath of these revelations on the younger generation of the Harris family. King Harris hasn't just been acting as a messenger. He has positioned himself as a protector who is willing to burn down the entire industry if it means securing his mother's peace of mind. The final receipts he has teased include what he describes as the exit strategy, a series of communications where 50 Cent allegedly tried to buy the family's silence once he realized that the rumors of the secret nights were beginning to leak through the cracks of their social circle. King claims that the mogul offered a multi-million-dollar development deal that was essentially a non-disclosure agreement in disguise. By rejecting this and choosing to go public, the Harris family has effectively declared war on the traditional way the music business handles its scandals. This move is unprecedented because it breaks the code of the streets that 50 Cent has built his entire brand upon. The public is now seeing a version of 50 Cent that isn't just a witty troll, but a man who may have finally met his match in a Gen Z son who doesn't care about the old rules of industry politics. 50 Cent's final stand in this saga has been one of absolute defiance, but the cracks are starting to show in his usually impenetrable armor. His reactions have pivoted from mockery to a more somber, almost philosophical defense. He has started sharing long-form posts about betrayal and the cost of helping ungrateful people, attempting to frame the entire Harris family as a group that bit the hand that fed them during their darkest financial hours. He suggests that the secret nights were spent brainstorming ways to save Tiny's brand from the tax liens and legal troubles that have plagued the Harris estate over the last decade. By painting himself as the unseen savior, 50 is trying to win back the court of public opinion. But King Harris has countered this by highlighting the predatory nature of help that comes with such high strings attached. The debate has now moved into the realm of ethics. Is it truly help if it requires a mother to hide her whereabouts from her family and sign away her autonomy? The shocking details of the coercion involved suggest that the price of 50's assistance was far higher than any interest rate a bank could ever charge. As we look toward the future, the implications of this feud are massive. Industry insiders are suggesting that this could lead to a series of Me Too moments within the hip-hop community, where other women feel empowered by Tiny's bravery to speak out about the forced meetings and private pressures they've faced from powerful men in suits. The secret nights have become a metaphor for the hidden exploitation that occurs when business and personal lives are intentionally tangled to create leverage. For 50 Cent, the loss might not be financial, as his diversified portfolio remains strong, but his street cred and his reputation as a man of the people are taking a significant hit. The public's perception of him is shifting from the underdog from Queens to a corporate predator who uses his power to manipulate those he considers beneath him. Meanwhile, the Harris family must navigate the internal damage of having their private trauma broadcast to millions. T.I.'s eventual and inevitable full response to these leaks will likely be the final nail in the coffin of this friendship, marking the end of an era where the South and the North could coexist in a fragile peace. The script of this rivalry is still being written in real time, but the conclusion seems to point toward a permanent restructuring of how celebrity power is viewed. King Harris has promised one last mega drop of data that he claims will prove 50 Cent was not just acting alone, but was part of a larger network of industry figures who facilitated these secret nights to maintain control over reality TV talent. If this evidence comes to light, it could trigger a federal investigation into the labor practices and psychological conditions of reality star contracts. Tiny's journey from a silent participant to a vocal survivor has resonated with fans worldwide, turning what started as a celebrity gossip story into a movement for transparency. As the curtain falls on this chapter, the world is left with a stark reminder that in the glitz and glamour of the music industry, the most expensive thing you can own is your own truth. The secret nights are over, the lights are on, and for 50 Cent and the Harris family, nothing will ever be the same again. This situation is far from over, and with King Harris promising even more receipts, we are likely only seeing the beginning of a massive industry shift. But what do you think? Is 50 Cent the mastermind manipulator the Harris family claims he is? Or is this a calculated move by Tiny and King to rewrite their own history? The evidence is stacking up, and the secret nights are finally coming to light, but the court of public opinion is still out. Before you go, make sure to hit that like button if you found this deep dive helpful, and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss the next update. Because when King drops that next mega drive of data, you'll want to be the first to know. Drop a comment below. Team 50 or Team Harris? Let's get the conversation started. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one as the story continues to unfold.